and welcome to the semi-final edition, the first semi-final edition of the LCS post-game lobby of the season, where I'm joined by the Physio after a 3-1 series between G2 and Splyce. We'll have Jankos and Perks joining us in just a bit, but that gives us time to talk about the match. Now, for me, the fact that Perks wasn't in the player of the game voting even is what tells the story of the series and of G2 for me, because Yarnan, I had not expected him to step up that much, and I had not expected him to step up that much that Perks would not be as necessary to G2's success overall. That's a great plus for them.
Yeah, it was a good thing. From talking to Perks also, like previously in the week, they mentioned a lot how they wanted to integrate the bot lane a lot more. They knew they needed that bot lane to do well if they actually want to win the entire split, because one thing is beating Splyce. That's probably going to be maybe an even stronger team sitting waiting for you in the final. So you need Yarnan to perform at a high level, and I think he did today. I think actually in a lot of cases, I would say lane for lane, G2 looked better than Splyce. And that's a lot of credit to the bottom lane there as well, because we were not expecting a lot from them.
Yeah, that's where I want to jump in. G2 now makes their 5th consecutive final as an organization, but did they look good enough to have a competitive chance in that final? It seems that today, with those upgrades in Yarnan's play specifically, they look pretty nice. Pretty good.
Yeah, I think they did. They also look pretty, I agree. I think game 1 was the only really shaky game between the teams where it was very clear they had to get used to, the semi-final. I think Game 2 looked good from G2. I think this last game here as well. Wonder grabs Fiora top lane against Shen Camille. So I was like, ooh, that's pretty risky. Could be the enemy jungler camps him, but then nothing really happens from Xerxes. He just kind of farms.
Did it catch you off guard, the fact that Splyce did not fight back, maybe at all, even after that first game?
I think even though Splyce showed us better early games in the second half of the regular season, it wasn't due to insane action they did that. They just ended up like not really falling behind to ganks or anything, and then they would just play around like turrets, and then would get goal leads against most teams in Europe. It wasn't pure ganking except for on Zac. And Zac was banned every single game this series, and it really hurt Xerxes' early impact, which I think made it a lot easier for Perks and Wonder to just avoid ever really getting ganked and fall behind in lanes, because we had a lot of 0-0-0s for these guys and just a ton of CS.
Yeah, great draft choices from the side of G2. We'll talk a bit more about that with Jankos and Perks later, but first, for more on their win, we have QuickShot, who's also standing by with 2 other players of Europe's newest finalists.
Thank you very much. I am joined, of course, by Wonder and Wadid. First and foremost, congratulations on making it to finals.
Thank you.
I have to ask, Wadid, when you sat down, you were still shaking and hugs and high fives, and you said, I don't know what to think, I don't know what to feel. Talk me through what you were thinking and feeling as you killed that final Nexus.
I really don't know. Like, everything is new. Last year, I was in Rocket, a bit close to making a playoff, but we got playoff bye. Like, it was so easy for us. And then right now, we got the finals. It's finals, right? But I don't know how to express my emotions right now, because it's my first time anyway, so.
We're going to figure out how to express those emotions in a little bit. For Wonder, it's not your first finals, but it's your first finals in a while. How important is it to get there? And also, how does it feel to know you knocked Kobe out?
Well, making finals, of course, feels really great. As you said, I made it 2016 summer, so that's quite a while since then, now that we're in 2018, so feels really good. Knocking out Kobe, on the other hand, even though there was a lot of banter pre-game and stuff like that, of course, it never feels great. I get along really well with Kobe and pretty much everyone, everyone actually on my old team, my ex-teammates, so knocking out someone, and because he wants this really bad too, so that of course doesn't feel as great.
Of course,
it's necessary.
It is necessary, especially if you want to win. That's how it works. Wonder, you talked about former teammates. What about new teammates? What about pressure for G2? This organization has never missed an EU LCS final, and thanks to you and Wadid and the rest of the guys, they continue not to miss it.
Well, personally, I understand that there's pressure following joining a team that have won 4 consecutive titles, where I haven't won any in my career yet. So I understand that there's pressure, especially from the community, but I feel like I'm pretty good personally at handling pressure and not letting it get to me. And I think that my aspiration, my kind of goals as well for myself is further than winning EU, or it is winning EU, but so
you're aiming higher than that.
We're kind of aligning in our goals here, and I think that's what matters in the end. So I'm not feeling that pressured myself by it.
I'm really happy to hear that. I'm excited to see how you're going to perform in Denmark, of course. You talked about personal goals, and I have one of my favorite tweets that I read from Wadid last year, in fact. You said something along the lines of, I don't just want to be another random Korean playing in a foreign league. You want to make a name for yourself in EU LCS. Do you feel like you're doing that now?
I'm not sure. Like, I'm just making my image to like just funny ways, like dabbing on stage or something. There's just people, oh, Wadid? Oh, that guy just dabbed on the stage, haha, funny guy, but not the way that I'm willing to. Like, he's a really good support. He's making some play. He's a playmaker. But right now, I'm just like funny guy, like comedian. I don't want to be the comedian on stage, right? Like, I'm here for performing really well other than like other supports. Like, I'm here like Korean support. Right now, I'm only like being in a playoff. So yeah, I just want to
show off your skills.
Yeah,
You've made it to finals. You've made it to finals, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if I rewatch my inting, yeah, maybe I can realize, oh my God, actually in the finals, yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that. And it's always the competitors that are very critical, even after a win, that seem to improve. I want to congratulate one more. And just before we head to PGL, I have to say, Wanda, you're playing in front of a Danish crowd. You're in the finals again in Denmark. Could I ask you to give a shout out to your Danish fans in Danish ahead of the finals next week?
Of course, ja. Jeg håber, I alle sammen kommer og supporter os, når vi spiller på scenen. Mig, specielt danskerne og bare mit team. Jeg glæder mig virkelig meget til at spille i foran alle jer, og ja, ikke rigtig mere at sige.
Congratulations. I know your family were here watching today. Thank you for coming to the show. Congratulations, Wanda and Wadid. We will see you in Denmark for the finals.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
For now, back to Shucks and the gang for PGL.
Thank you very much. We're joined here by Jankos and Perks as well. Congratulations to you guys. Perks' 5th consecutive final with G2 Esports. Jankos, your first EU LCS final. I can imagine you're both pretty happy. Who's the happiest out of you both?
Probably him. Like, I feel like more relieved now that I'm there.
Come on, I
but like when we won, like I saw tears in his eyes, and that was
this is not true.
That actually made me so.
I think I saw it too. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I definitely
happy.
saw that.
And I'm just really happy. Yeah.
So you're more happy for your other team members?
I'm happy for my teammates because they are all so good and they all deserve it. And we worked so hard to split, and we stressed out so much, and we all wanted to like be here and get to the final. And now that we did it, it makes me really happy in particular.
Actually, I will use that moment to appreciate Hjarnan as well, since he's not actually making any interviews, it seems like, because we are here and Wanda and Wadid were doing the previous interview.
I got you covered. He is the player of the series.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, because
go.
I think he gets a lot of hate from just fans, I guess, but I feel he's really trying to improve. And today, I felt like he played really well, so I'm happy with that, you know.
Yeah, let's make it official. Hjarnan is our player of the series. That's what the people apparently on the internet and the viewers share your opinion. And I think for me, I was just talking about it with the Fisho. I was very surprised that throughout the series, out of all the lanes we talked about, G2's bottom lane really outclassed Splyce's bottom lane. And for me, that was quite a big surprise. And of course, there's a lot of the team effort around it, but a lot of that can be attributed to Hjarnan.
I think he played really well. I love his gen, first of all, which he got 2 of the games, so that was super good. I think Splyce didn't really know what to play bot lane. It was really all over the place with their kind of 2v2 lane. So G2 had a clear game plan. Time Cannons, there was a Thresh as well coming in, which Wadid played super well in that game 3. So overall, I think both guys performed. I think Hjarnan was the standout. I think Wadid did fine, but I think Hjarnan was definitely the one who did the best.
Is it nice for you to know, Perks, that when we're talking about G2, we often talk about Perks and the rest of his team and Perks and Wonder. But in this game, it seemed that you very much did your job. But it was much more team effort, I think, than I've seen throughout most of the split. Is that fair?
Yeah, that just makes me really happy. It relieves so much pressure from my shoulder in terms of like me needing to step up or do like force every fight. But now this series, like my team was forcing so many fights, and I could just be like calm guy, I guess, like kind of, and I would like make some mistakes here and there. I played fine, but I could play a little better, I think. But it just makes me really happy that my team is like so good right now.
Well, and Jankos, you definitely were a big part of that, often getting the engages going for your team, getting the early game played out. And we were a bit surprised about how Xerxes did not have as good of early games as he had in the second half of the split. Where do you think, or why do you think it is that you were better than him in the series in the early game?
I think, first of all, I feel like his champion pool was kind of targeted because we won one champion. Zach, I think he's by far the best on that champion. And then when it comes to other champs, I felt like his Olaf was a little bit underwhelming, and then his Tralna was really good, but not every game you can win with Tralna. So I personally feel like Xerxes is really good, but sometimes he should play more meta champs as well. And then also, I think we just played better as a team. I didn't feel like any of us played much better, like individually, than his counterpart. I just felt like what we practiced, the whole split, kind of paid off, and we were communicating really well. We were talking, we were playing as 5, and also basically, yeah. I guess that's it.
That was it. As a team, they played better. And then it seems to me as we got kind of a taste of this matchup in the tiebreaker, but not that much change. G2 was also dominant in that, and G2 was also dominant in this best of 5. So what does this mean for Splyce? Is it just third place match now, and they just have to work on this project, but they weren't strong enough to make it to the finals?
To me, it felt like they were just a weaker team today. It wasn't like, I think there were some questionable decisions on red side in some of the games where they gave Swain, they didn't have an answer to Swain. They tried the Gnar Olaf one, which I'm not sure if you guys understood that one specifically, but then they didn't actually even play around it. So Wonder got another free game up top. Obviously wasn't the main, like the only reason they lost it, but I think they tried to do some things in pick and ban phase to play comfort. Also with Zillion coming in that second phase instead of getting a winning bot lane. So there just were some things that didn't seem to click for them as a team.
Yep.
It meant to me that they were the weaker of the two. So them going into the third place game is just, it's fair.
It kind of feels
fair. They didn't deserve to win today. I at least can safely say that. And I think G2 looked in control 3 out of 4 games.
Yeah, we'll see how you guys do in the finals. Throughout this PGL, I'm also going to switch in some Shocksin statements. If you guys don't know what that is, it's some statements that we designed that you guys might think are absolutely crazy or right on point, should be harsher. You let us know, all right? Okay. This is the first one. Wonder is the biggest carry on G2 esports.
I think that's fair to say. I mean, I think his performance, at least on stage, looks really well, and I think a lot of the times we try to play around him. So I think he just overall plays well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, there's not much to say. Like, he's the biggest carry because when he gets a carry champ, we expect him to carry, and he usually does very well. So he is the carry.
Do you think that you fully went to that mindset of let's just always give him a carry as much as we can, because we saw it being on and off in the first half of the split?
I'm not sure actually, because we are still fine playing tanks, but we actually think that also carry top is probably the best right now. I'm sure that when we see LCK tomorrow, maybe we'll see all kinds of like playing around top and carry top stuff. And playing around bot is important as well. That's why we got an advantage as well because of our draft. Like enemy support we knew that he could play melee supports, but he doesn't really prefer them. So that just gave us a huge advantage in draft. Like you guys have no idea how easy that made me feel like when I saw like Janna or Zillion or something. Like it made me really happy. So.
Do you agree with that? Was that also kind of Splyce's
I mean, that's what
downfall?
I talked about before, where it felt like in the pick and ban phase, they were kind of handicapped in what they could do. They lost Zac, so that was the best champ in the jungle. And then with a lot of support picks, like I thought we were going to see more like Morgana essentially coming in some of the games, when I think it could have been picked with Morgana Caitlyn as an example. They didn't go for that, and then they swap it to more late game focused. So they don't actually have a winning lane, because they don't beat the Swain top. Niski's never going to beat Perks mid, and then the bot lane's drafting pure scaling. So it was one of the reasons also I felt like Xerxes maybe couldn't do as much as he normally wanted to, and Jankos had kind of free early games in some of them, and we just got Skana every single game.
That does surprise me, because what that comes down to also for me is that, like, for a team of Splyce, they did have a week to prepare, right? So I would have thought that they would be able to maybe creatively think around that. And when you see that Swain being given over so many times without answer, if you see that Zac being taken away and there really is no answer for Xerxes, someone who has been very inventive in the past as well, it just makes me wonder what that's about. if there's no solutions that can be found in draft. But I guess we...
To be honest, though, I felt surprised when he picked Olaf, for example. Like, we did not expect him to pick up Olaf, and this is a champion he picked up. I just think that some of their bans were really questionable as well. So it's not only that their picks, you know, their support doesn't really play melee champs, or the jungle can really perform well on a lot of the meta champions. So I think we prepared way better. We had 2 weeks, right? So we prepared better, and also I feel like we play way better as a team. We kind of look like old G2 and not the G2 that people were expecting us to be, you know?
What is old G2 and what is
I think the old G2 is just Sven, Miffy, and Expect, and all those like guys that were really insane last year and the year before that. I felt that they always played as a team, and even though people could argue that they were the best individuals in Europe, it's also because how they played together, you know. And I feel like right now we are not actually trying to, like, some people could argue that I'm not the best jungle, or Hyano is not the best AD, or even Perks. You know, we have Caps mid lane, he's so insane. So, so that's why I feel like since we are playing way better as a team compared to Splyce, for example, we just won.
I think that's a really cool point, and something that actually surprised me already week 1 of this split, because when I saw Perks and Jankos on a roster, I was like, great. This is like carry, super hardcore, like snowball picks mid, early game jungle from Jankos, and then you just destroy every mid lane, and then you have Wanda on a carry top, and you just take over like snowball picks all the time. It became Sejuani every game, and it became like scaling mid laner for Perks, and we're like, okay, I guess this is going to be slow G2. And they actually did try and play, and you talked a lot about this in interviews, you guys wanted to play like the correct way, and not just early snowball. And we've kind of seen that trend continue for G2. It has backfired a few times when they were on the clock and they got outscaled. There are some matches, H2K, Fnatic, where they then, around a Baron or something, don't fully execute it, and then they get outscaled. But apart from that, it's actually been very successful. And Splyce definitely didn't have an answer.
No, they didn't have an answer today. You talk a lot about the importance of early game, and I think that is something we're going to see tomorrow like crazy between Fnatic and Vitality. And I'd like to kick off the discussion about that semifinals you guys are strapped in for with another statement. Here it is. Bwipo playing for Fnatic makes Vitality the favorites going into tomorrow. For people that are not up to date about the news, Soaz has injured his hand, cannot play. Bwipo will be starting for all 5 possible games tomorrow in the semifinal. How does this up Vitality's chances, Jankos?
I do believe that Vitality has really good early game, and from what they showed in scrims this week, we played both teams, Vitality and Fnatic. I feel like Vitality can maybe surprise us. I think that they play really solid. But if they don't get lead, they get lost on the map. And that's what Fnatic will, in my opinion, abuse. Especially that, even though there is no SOAS, so we will not see, let's say, tank top lanes, because usually that's like dog champ for SOAS. But we have Caps, Reckless in the same team. Really good players. And on top of it, there is Broxa jungle and Hylissang. So I just think that they play smart, like kind of similar to us, but also they have a lot of star players that they can play around. So it's not like Soaz had to carry, or it's not like Bwipo has to carry. He just needs to not get into the mindset where he thinks that he needs to perform really well or something. So like basically, don't choke.
Yeah, don't choke. Your TLDR is Hylissang, Broxa, Bwipo, don't choke. Let Caps and Reckless do the work. Do you guys agree?
My TLDR is Reckless, Caps,
Reckless, Caps.
Hylissang, Broxa, Bwipo, don't choke.
Okay, gotcha. Perks, what do you think?
I have a lot of information through my head right now. I heard from my jungler.
Oh, yeah.
But with the statement, I kind of agree, but not fully. No. I think it's like, of course, it's an aggressive statement. So I think
that's the game.
Yeah, exactly. They're not the favorites, in my opinion, but they have a very high chance of actually upsetting Fnatic, because I would like, let's say like 2 weeks ago, I would just say Fnatic would like 3-0 them, and they're the best team in Europe by far. But after screaming them more, and after all the teams getting better, and I feel like Fnatic got much better. That's how I feel at least. I think that Vitality has a very high chance of actually taking the whole series, and it's gonna be, like how Janko said, like Caps, Reckless, so good carries.
So
like.
if you say Vitality has a big chance of taking the series, what lane are you thinking about that?
I'm thinking more like Fnatic mid-jungle will get so outperformed by Vitality mid-jungle, and they will just snowball into the whole series being lost. As much as like I always praise Caps, I just think now that he's not playing to the best level that he could be, and I think that Vitality mid-jungle is playing really well around pressure, and I think that Vitality bottom is playing a little better than usual, and I think that as much as I didn't really like Kao before, I think that he's playing really well with his team right now. That's how I feel this. And as much as like Jankos said, feel a bit lost in the map, they're if they don't get lead, if they do get lead, they're pretty good. I mean, not unstoppable, but they're pretty good. Yeah.
That's damning from the side of Perks.
It sounds like they're favorites based on what you're saying.
You say every single lane.
I guess kind of, yeah. I mean, I mean, usually it's like Fnatic doesn't lose bot and doesn't lose mid, but against Vitality, both times they played, they actually lost those lanes, and it just makes me think that the Vitality is like the best matchup against Fnatic, right? I still think, in my opinion, if Fnatic plays well, they're the favorites, right? But if Vitality plays well, maybe they're the favorites.
So
I'm allowed to play this.
A lot of information here, a lot of things being thrown around, obviously from scrims as well, which I can't base my thing on. But one thing I can say is I have now for basically 4 years of casting EU LCS heard about scrim teams who are so good at playing early game in scrims and winning games in scrims because teams just fall apart and they don't try and come back the same way they do on stage. They don't play as safe as they do on stage. I do not trust in Vitality executing properly around Barons consistently over 5 games until I see it on stage.
Yeah, that is a good point, the picture. I feel like
and that's
every
gonna
time
happen.
Vitality is going to Nash, they are sweating for their lives. They are
and
praying
even more on stage.
Julius will actually smite it. And this could actually, and Broxa is actually really good at stealing Nashes. I know from experience. So, yeah.
So we're going to have this situation where I 100% agree Vitality will win the early game. I definitely think Jizuke and Gilius will be way better in the 2v2 mid. I think Caps might even be left alone. Like, I'm watching the Fnatic VODs, and they don't even know what a control ward is around mid. It is disgusting to watch. Caps, fun fact, buys the 3rd least amount of wards out of any player in the EU LCS. You know who buys the 2nd least? Reckless. So
that's actually,
you have absolutely no defensive vision in the early game, and that's why a lot of teams can take advantage of it. That's going to be a problem.
Holy hell. I got to stop you guys, because like, the statement was that Vitality would be the favorites. We were like, and now you guys are ripping Fnatic apart.
Fnatic will still win. Because
After
Vitality,
Soaz is not playing, I am even more hoping
it hurts, I agree, but Vitality, I don't think they will execute the late game properly. So unless they get such a huge lead that they can actually force a team fight and then take Baron after, then they won't snowball.
How much can Fnatic be behind that 20 minutes for them to lose the game?
If they're Victor Syria, kind of garbage, 10K.
10K. We'll see. I have to be, I'm quite surprised because in my head, when I thought about this statement, I would say it's more of a 50-50 odds right now, but you guys are definitely giving a lot of credit to Vitality Perks. Are you thinking ahead? Are you thinking that you want to beat Gilius in the finals? Is that it?
No, I think like for us, it'll be easier to play against Vitality than Fnatic. Still. I still rate Fnatic as a good team, right? But there's just something about Vitality Fnatic that it makes me think that Vitality will actually take them over.
Don't get too biased from scrims though. You watch the HK series.
Yeah. Also, like, yeah, they were like meh in the series, right? But they can step up in 1 week. And how I see it is that Fnatic has choked in semifinals last year.
Fair.
And it just makes me think that they will actually, even though Record said we have joy, we will not tilt. I actually think that Caps will alt-tab mentally if something happens bad in the game. Like, this is the worst from him, by the way, not from me. And I think that just the mid jungle is going to have the edge in Vitality.
Very interesting. And I also think it's very interesting that after week 9, like the opinions across the board where Fnatic is the strongest and will have the upper hand in any matchup that comes their way. And I don't think it's particularly related to Bwipo. It seems like it's different things that are surfacing here for you guys for Fnatic.
They can really struggle early game.
Yeah.
And Vitality have been probably consistently the best early game team, especially due to
So are
Jizuke
Splyce
and
in the
Gilius.
second half of the split.
Not by killing people, by taking turrets.
All right.
This is different. They're killing Caps, and then Caps is down, and then they're going to go bot lane, they're going to try and kill Reckless, and then that's how they can snowball it. My original prediction was 3-1 Fnatic.
Yeah, they want to change it?
With these changes, I'm going to do 5 games instead. I'm still going to say Fnatic will win, because I don't think Vitality will consistently win these late games, as I said before. And there will be enough games where Caps and Reckless can be the big carries.
So, Jankos, who wins tomorrow? Why?
I think I go 3-1 for Fnatic, since I feel like Broxa in semis or overall when the games matter, I think sometimes he finds a good pathing, or maybe they all do it, but they cheese a lot. And I feel like Vitality will try to look for similar things, and I just don't see Vitality winning without early lead. I see Fnatic losing, yeah, but so basically if Fnatic, whenever it gets early lead, the mid jungle is kind of lost, and then Fnatic will just snowball probably. So that is why I feel like if Vitality doesn't get a good draft, or good early game, they cannot win. That is my opinion.
That unwavering trust in Fnatic. Perks, do you want to put it
You
on
gotta go
Vitality?
Vitality, man.
I mean,
With these words.
I mean, with these words, like it feels like kind of I have to go, but I still think the Fnatic will win, right? I think that Vitality has a really big chance of upsetting, but I think Fnatic will win, and I would just call it like 3-2 Fnatic.
Would you love to play Fnatic in the final? Or does not
I
matter
think
to
it
you?
will be really
hype, yeah.
because we are supposed to meet them last year in Spring Split, and we got them in semis, and then they were like actually like they were like so bad, and then they came like they resurrected, and they're like they were so insane. They 3-0'd H2K.
Yeah.
And then they also like 3-0 like so demolished Misfits in third place match. So they were actually like they were probably deserving to be in the finals, right? Because I would like from my experience like Fnatic was a little better than Unicorns, right? But then in summer split I expected Fnatic to 3-0 Misfits, right? And then there was a Zac flying over in Caps' face. I don't know. There's something with Zac and Caps, like it just doesn't work together.
Ban it.
And the Misfits just like played better, I guess, in them and won. So yeah, I think 3-2 Fnatic, but I have my doubts, right?
With everything here, I'm even more hyped for the semifinals
statement.
than I was now. Yeah, good. Thank you.
And keep in mind, by the way, the Vitality is full of rookies as well.
But they play a lot of BO5s. They've been in like also promotion tournament, 5 games and so on.
Really?
Like, and I feel like you're almost more nervous in a promo tournament than the semifinal of the LCS.
Might be.
When you're in a BO5, maybe not, but they played BO5s at least.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that playing for now possible EU LCS title in the final
Maybe
is
that's a
going to
little
give you
bit
some
cooler.
stress. But Gilius, he stays
definitely.
cool, you know. He's gonna. Wouldn't you give something to see Jankos and Gilius fight it out on the big stage?
That would be really cool, by the way.
That would be
I would
nice.
prepare some banter and flame and everything throughout the week to throw at each other. That
Nice.
would be really cool. And also, according to this, I think just Memento, when Rocket played against... who did Rocket play?
Play
Splyce?
Splyce.
Okay, Rocket plays Splyce, right? I felt like Memento took too much on himself that he has to carry, and he was not performing well. And I think if Julius or any other Vitality member thinks that they have to carry and they will try to step up their game, I think it will actually make their game just worse.
I would say except for Jizuke.
Just Fnatic will win. Like, come on, guys. Like, I just can't believe it.
All right. Well, we'll check back in
That's gonna be
tomorrow. We'll
fun.
see what
Actually, I
happens.
really want to
It'll
see
be super
Vitality
fun.
wins only so he's wrong. Like, only so I want to contradict him right now.
Okay, if I turn off nameplate and I don't see Reckless and the Caps, like, we need the, I mean, you know, next to the champion, maybe I would choose my mind, but...
Also want to add in case Fnatic loses tomorrow,
Yes.
Reckless will lose the Euphoria bet.
Can you remind us?
He will have to wear a hot dog costume on stage before the crowd shows up and film a video in front of the trophy wishing Perks all the luck in the world and saying how happy he is for Perks that he can now win another title. If, however, Reckless wins, it's Drakus and myself in these hot dog costumes.
Yeah. I don't know what I'd like more. Who to wear the tight costume.
I would
Let's just
for
leave
sure
that in
love
the
Reckless.
middle.
We already
I
had the
would love
video
to see
today of the
Reckless
dog
with the costume.
costumes, so that was one thing.
You
Would be nice to win a bet.
You guys can catch up on that wager if you listen to the Euphoria podcast right now on iTunes.
SoundCloud
Now YouTube.
and YouTube.
YouTube,
Just
indeed.
Euphoria podcast, you'll find it.
So, taking a bit of a break from Europe, my last shocking statement is related to the upsets we saw over in North American playoffs with C9 and TSM getting knocked out. And it is 100 Thieves coach Prolly is the only successful NA to EU transfer.
I mean, that
I'm
one
really
is
happy for Prolly, by the way. I love Prolly, and
Yes.
I still enjoyed playing with him, or like, I mean, him coaching me, I guess. And even though we didn't have much success together, and it seems like we have actually much more success like without each other, I still hope that
A nice
he will just do
breakup.
well.
I mean, he's,
Well,
he's still in semifinals. Like, he has to win the semi.
yeah, exactly. But it's
You
like
were
we went
in the same
against
place.
Prolly.
Yeah, we have
Oh,
February.
yeah.
So
February has been successful.
Yeah, so this is where Febiven as well. So this is where we find out what component of the old H2K
who was
was
actually-
the trouble.
Right now, it
Odo,
seems like Odo was
maybe?
actually the problem.
It
Not
could
Jankos
still
today,
be
that's for
Jankos.
sure.
It could still be Prolly. It could still be Fabi, but
There's also
Fabiven is
Ryu.
doing really, really well.
Ryu is with
Ryu,
Prolly,
yeah.
who's also
Prolly,
part of the
yeah.
old H2K as well.
Also part of Hardstack third place.
But honestly, though, I think really is playing. I mean, maybe not right now in NA because I don't watch much of 100 Thieves, but I always thought Ryu is really good, and when I played with him, I enjoyed it a lot.
He's a
And
boss.
When I would look at Fabi and Ryu, I would say that Fabi will probably dominate the lane or like play better, like as a mechanical player. But I think Ryu is just so smart, like so smart.
So when it comes to transfers and going as expected, for me, I think that Febvin definitely surprised me. The way he's always been good, right? But I didn't expect him to be so dominating over in NA Perks. What do you? Oh, do you want to jump in?
Honestly, I think the team surprised me.
Yeah.
I think Febvin played kind of as expected. I think he was going to be consistently good in almost every game, which he was. But the fact that the team around him actually played well, that was the one that stood out for me, especially in the TSM series.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like I think Febby played really well, like consistently, like Fischer said. But his team was there to step up and to actually do stuff, and he was just like the consistent player that he is. So it's very nice. I'm very happy for him to find success. As much as it sucks, it means that Sven and Mitty lost, but.
So yeah, do you talk to them, or do you just like, what's it like for you to knowing that you're such good friends with these guys and this stuff is now happening?
I was like, when I had hard times during the split, I would like go and speak to Mitty on Skype. In the like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. we would watch VODs together, watch our scrims and my scrims, and they give me some feedback, and we would like watch VODs on YouTube, and then we would talk about the game, and I speak to Sven very often as well, and Trick as well. So I speak to all of them basically.
You do.
What's
expect? I speak to him a bit, but he's like, he's in another world. It's just expect.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm very close friends to them, and also I'm the last one standing.
Yes, you
And
are. You're
I'm
holding down the fort.
I'm in the final, and they all lost.
I like how that's true.
We're going down such an emotional, sweet road, and then you're like, I'm in the final, everyone
like,
else lost.
I'm the best.
Also confirmed that Mitty still coaches G2.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing changed, really.
Mitty helped me improve for sure. I was really like hard stuck.
Alrighty. Well, fantastic stuff. We also send the best for all our EU players that go over to NA, and we hope that they do well. And I mean, it would be crazy if Febvin won the trophy over there, or Prolly and Ryu. We all call them EU, but actually Ryu is Korean and Prolly is North American.
That's kind of European. Yeah. We know at some point it's like just 5 European players on each team over in NA, 5 Europeans on each team over here,
and then
maybe a few Korean imports in there, and then we've taken over the world effectively.
Magic
except
formula.
for Korea and China.
Alrighty, well, taking over the world one step at a time and one match at a time. Let's take a look at the bracket, because we have another best of 5 on the books for us. This is what it looks like so far. So,
oh my God.
Is there a surprise somewhere, or is everything for you, Martin, going as expected so far?
I think kind of goes as planned. I mean, I had H2K beating Vitality, which was close, but so I guess that was one little surprise. I think 3-0 Rocket was the obvious one.
Yep.
3-1, 3-2 for G2 in this series. You can take it. Both of them kind of work. So I think so far it makes a lot of sense, and I would say it makes the most sense if Fnatic makes the final. But with all the stuff we just discussed now, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Vitality's in there.
Well, what you've seen of G2 in the last week and today, and with what we've just discussed in terms of the relative level of Fnatic and Vitality, do you see G2 Esports lifting their 5th trophy in a row?
I think, first of all, with Wepo instead of SOAS, it's a lot more likely. With Yanin playing a lot better in the bot lane, and with the team really understanding that carries for top lane is what you're looking for, I think G2's chances went up a little bit. For sure. I'm not going to call them the favorites yet to do it. I want to see how tomorrow looks.
Do you think you're the favorite?
I don't think of myself as a favorite, because before I would always think of myself as favorite going into final. I expected myself to win every single final, but I really like the underdog mentality and the underdog, like, how is it? Like, just the underdog, like, underdog mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like underdog mindset.
No pressure.
Like when we went first split in the LCS, we didn't like everyone expected us to be like what 6 or something, like playoff, right? But we just went and we just like smacked everyone, I guess. And even in the final, like we just like holy, we smacked everyone.
Yeah.
And that was like that really like boosted my ego, right? And my confidence.
And then MSI happened.
And then MSI happened, and I still had a high confidence, and maybe too high. Yeah. Anyways, I really like the underdog mindset, and I think that I really want my team to have it as well, because for me, like I would have expected Fnatic to win the split, and they have to win the split. If they ever want to win a split again, Well, I'm in this region. They have to win this split, or they will not win it again.
I love how you're building up the narrative.
Like, they really have to, right? Because they are together for 1.5 years now, and they are expected to win. Let's not move pressure from them. They are expected to win, right?
I love how you're trying to push the narrative, so you're the underdog.
And I'm coming from a 5th title right now, and they can't even stop me. Like, they have no chance. So.
Perks, you're not, the way you're talking right now, you're not the underdog.
Final, by the way.
Yeah.
Just run that for the final.
But Perks, Heavy is the head that wears the crown. You can't be the underdog if you're playing the way you are now, and if you're saying the things about Fnatic and your G2 esports, and that's always going to be kind of...
It's all in your mind.
It's all in your mind.
You control everything.
Jankos, though, Jankos is the guy that is a total underdog that has to like break this curse of the horrible play in playoffs.
Yeah, Jankos, it's so happy for him. Like, his first time in the final, he can just int now.
I can choke now. I can choke now. You know, I can still do it. But yeah, I mean, I felt really good that I'm in the finals, but it doesn't actually feel that super nice. I mean, when I won, maybe I was thinking that I could not contain emotions, but I could, and I was like, yeah, we won, I'm happy now. But I just feel like we are just playing better. And right now, looking at it, I think we have a chance of winning. But like Lucas said, I felt like Fnatic clearly should take it, and people shouldn't basically stop them from it, you know. I think he is playing really well, and they should be able to leave the trophy. So if they don't...
I kind of agree with him, but I don't agree with him completely, because I think that right now, from how Fnatic is performing, I would say, is they're not the favorites. But no, they are. I
haven't seen them play yet.
Like, they're still okay. I'm really like leaking stuff. They're still the favorites, right? But I just think that they're, like, as you guys said, G2's chances went high up, like a lot higher than what it was before.
You're the favorite.
No, we are the underdogs.
You are the underdogs.
Let's set things straight.
All right, we go into the final.
We are the
two
underdogs.
Two underdogs in the final.
What if it's Vitality in the final? Are you still
There
the
is two
underdog?
underdogs in the final.
Two underdogs.
If Vitality
No, if
makes
Vitality
it
is in the final, like, I will win the final. Actually, I will win the final, whoever is in the final. I actually call it right now. I will win another final. Like, it's already won.
So
there we go. What you just said about...
No.
We are the
Now you're not the underdogs. Now you're the favorites.
So now I just made us the favorites.
Stop it. So you just went on this big talk about, you know, when I started and I was confident, too confident, MSI. Now you're like, we're just going to win no matter what happens.
We are the underdogs, but the underdog we thought is so strong that we're going to win no matter what.
3D chess, this guy.
I'm playing this game on another level.
Cool. Another level for Perks. We will see. In any case, there's still one match left to be played out here in the semifinals before we pack up and head to Denmark tomorrow between Fnatic and Vitality. We've talked about it enough already, but you guys mark your calendars because tomorrow it starts at 5 p.m. Central European Summer Time. That is 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And for tonight, there is a lot more League of Legends coming your way. At the stroke of midnight, it is the NA Academy Finals between FlyQuest Academy and Echo Fox Academy. So just keep watching League of Legends all night long. Thank you guys very much for joining me. We'll see you in Copenhagen in the final. Good stuff. That was weird. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All
we'll
right,
see
cool.
you there.
Thank you guys for having me here, and my bro Jankos. And
do you want to read it?
He didn't call me a dog, even though he did before, as of like mid-jungle thingy.
No, you carried today. He was your dog.
Yeah,
he was actually.
He literally just waited to admit.
Really
I just wait for my team to carry. It feels so nice, actually.
Perks, we already said who is the best play-by-play player. Pro player who's a play-by-play caster. You now can read this and close the show for us today. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that. But for us, it's time to call it a night. And thank you all for joining us. Like, it's been a lovely day today. G2 won again, and we are really excited for our semi-final clash tomorrow between Fnatic and Vitality. And make sure to tune in, and good night!
Even went off prompter. I love it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
A real talent.
Speaking from your heart.
That was... Oh.
And remember, guys, no regrets. He is so low, but he manages to flash the ball up towards the top side of the fight. Zayas is down, Perks has joined the fight. The carry, the king is here, and Perks is cleaning up the snipes. And a jump towards the gateway, flashes in, the kill, coming, the carries, they come huge. But Splyce and Perks pops the Zonias, but there is no escape from him at all. He's going to get caught out the singles, well recovered. So low, taken down by Jankos, smited away. I'm so it's really fun. Wow! Kill in the air, they are done now as they take Nexus and even out the series 1-1.
I'm gonna play.
Everyone's flashing away, the flash come. Xerxes is not enough to get him to safety, and G2 have turned this head. He's called up, this version comes out, it's always a Nisqy though, Jankos still alive, Nisqy. Oh, look at Yarden! The Yarden! The carry and the blackline takes out two. The Baron goes, but Kobe's dead. It's a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4. E2 kicking and screaming to a 2-1 lead in this series. Petrifying gaze, sucks G2 in their spot, but Yarden is still alive. Watch this AD carry jump around the fight. He flashes the wall. He's getting onto Kobe. The curtain call is that's a double. He's dead. Yarden jumps forward looking for the triple in as well. Perks takes it away. The carries of G2 do absolute work and shred through Splyce.